Late life remarriage, family, inheritance, and the ethics of effort. Question. I'd like to ask about remarriage in later life. As the number of divorces among elderly people increases, remarriages in later life have also been on the rise. However, unlike late life divorces, remarriages often face a major obstacle: opposition from children. Although they may support their single parent dating again, they paradoxically oppose the idea of remarriage. This is usually because remarriage could reduce the inheritance they expect or complicate the family registry. So, what should someone do when they face such opposition from their children? Answer. When elderly people marry or meet someone later in life, our legal system isn't properly set up for it. The legal order hasn't yet been established correctly. So, when someone gets married, the children feel they're at a disadvantage. How? Let's say the parent has nothing. Would the children oppose the remarriage? No, they support it. They don't oppose any remarriage in late life. But suppose the parent owns a house. Then the children will oppose the marriage. Why? Because they believe that house belongs to us, not to the new person coming in. If the marriage is officially registered, it complicates things. The children don't oppose their parent dating someone. But they say, don't put them on the family registry. Why? Because once that person is on the registry, they become entitled to that property. That property, in the children's view, is the result of family effort. It belongs to the family. Let's take a moment to reflect on how wealth is accumulated in a family. In a family, there are siblings, parents, and so on. Some people study, others work to earn money. Each person has a different role. Some support the family financially, others pursue knowledge. For this to work, there must be people working hard in the background. A family is like a team. One sibling may even play the black sheep role. This helps another sibling stay focused and upright. Each member contributes in their own way. Sometimes people say, how could someone like that be in our family? But the truth is, if I hadn't done this, and that person hadn't done that, you wouldn't be where you are today, as a judge, prosecutor, or politician. So if you start to criticize someone who didn't achieve much, just remember, if you take everything for yourself and ignore them, it will all be taken away from you in the end. That's how nature works. Back to the main topic. Suppose through all these efforts there's a house left, or maybe some land, let's say 20,000 pyong, 66,000 square meters, or some money. The person managing this is the strongest in the household, usually the parent. They manage the finances, and the children are living their lives. But then the parent ends up alone. We'll skip the reasons for that. Then someone comes along, this new person, and conflict starts. When the parent passes away, they claim, that's my inheritance, and lawsuits start. If judges and prosecutors truly understood the principles of nature, they would say, this doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the descendants. That's the correct answer. Then there would be no legal disputes. Children wouldn't be able to oppose remarriage. But because our laws are flawed, they're blocking our right to pursue happiness and live joyfully. We need to create laws based on proper principles. Family wealth is not the result of a single person's effort. It belongs to the entire family. Likewise, in a company, profits don't belong only to the owner's family. They belong to all the workers who toiled and sacrificed. The wealth gets managed by someone, and eventually it gets distributed to children or others. If done wrongly, it causes resentment. In today's world, wealth cannot belong to just one person. You must understand that while some people developed knowledge and skills, others sacrificed in unseen ways. So even if you have talent, that doesn't mean the results are only yours. We are a community. So can elderly people remarry? Of course they can. But there's a principle. If you plan to remarry later in life, first understand how many children and family members your partner has. Then, you must make an effort toward those children. If you make a meaningful effort, they won't strongly oppose. But if you make no effort, suddenly marry, and seem to be after the inheritance, of course they'll object. Your effort has mass, like energy. If you haven't made any effort toward the children and suddenly move into their home, asking for a share of property, it's only natural they oppose you. The level of effort determines whether and how wealth can be shared. If someone takes property without effort, it won't be used properly. Nature won't allow it. That wealth won't bring them a good life. It will disappear, and they'll face hardships. If a child loses their inheritance, it's because they didn't have enough mass or merit to hold on to it. Nothing is gained without effort, even if you think you gained something through remarriage. If you weren't prepared for what you missed out on because of that, you'll face even more difficulty later. If you have no wealth, you should build it through effort, not by filling the void with something undeserved. That something will make you lazy and unprepared. And when it's gone, you'll suffer even more. Don't just pray to God, He won't help you. That's ignorance. The sacred energy of the universe is the real God. Heaven and earth energy is with us always. When you walk the right path and put in effort, nature supports you. That is the real God. If you go astray, nature corrects you. If you do the right thing, it supports you. We are part of nature, small parts of the great nature. We move according to its laws. In conclusion, if you want to live well with someone later in life, live together and make an effort together. But don't register the marriage legally. Understanding late life remarriage, a balanced approach. 1. The reality of late life remarriage. As late life divorces increase, so do remarriages. However, children often support their parents' dating life but oppose marriage. Main reasons for opposition: fear of losing inheritance, complications with legal family records. 2. Why do children oppose it? It's mostly about property and inheritance. If the parent has no wealth, children usually don't oppose remarriage. But if there's a house or money, they oppose it, believing, this property belongs to us, not the new spouse. They worry that if marriage is legally registered, the new spouse gains legal rights to the assets. 3. The deeper problem: the law. The current legal system doesn't handle these situations properly. It overlooks the fact that family property is a result of collective effort, not one person's work. Every family member plays a different role: studying, earning, supporting, and property is built together. Law should reflect this shared ownership, not treat the parent as the sole owner. 4. Can late life remarriage work? Yes, but under some conditions. Understand the family structure. How many children? What are their concerns? The new spouse should make efforts to build trust with the children. No effort. Children resist. Genuine care and effort. Children may accept. The principle is based on energy of effort. If you contribute, you deserve a share. If not, taking property without effort leads to problems, socially and spiritually. 5. Key conclusion. Remarriage is not wrong, but it should be done thoughtfully. Don't just register marriage legally and expect harmony. Consider living together, sharing life and effort, but not registering the marriage, especially if there are family property concerns. Nature rewards effort, fairness, and harmony, not greed or shortcuts. We are part of a greater natural law, and everything must be in balance with that. I wrote the story based on the above articles. A contract in autumn. Mrs. Lee's son Ok was 74 years old. After her husband passed away 5 years ago, the house she had lived in for over 50 years became unbearably quiet. Her 3 children had long since started their own families, and though they visited occasionally, the silence at home often grew heavy. Then one day at the local senior center, she met Mr. Choi Young-gil. "Why don't we go for walks together sometimes? It gets lonely walking alone," he said. From spring to autumn, the two of them strolled side by side through the park. They laughed, they shared stories, and slowly, warmth returned to Mrs. Lee's heart. Then one afternoon, Mr. Choi asked gently, "Son Ok, let's not grow old alone. Why don't we live together? It's better than being alone." Her heart fluttered with the unexpected joy. That evening, she brought it up to her eldest daughter, Yoon Young. But the reaction was not what she'd hoped. "Mom, what did you say? Marriage? Putting him on the family registry?" Soon all 3 children came to see her one after another. "You may have protected this house all your life, but it's still part of what we all built together. You don't even know his children. If you're going to live together, fine, but please, don't make it legal." Mrs. Lee was deeply hurt. It wasn't just that they disapproved. It was the way they seemed more worried about the house and inheritance than her loneliness. Still, she understood. This house, this life, they had built it as a family. After days of reflection, she had a heartfelt conversation with Mr. Choi. "Let's not get married. Let's just live together. But if we're going to do this, you have to help with things. Take care of the house. Maybe even help me when I'm sick. Can you do that?" He was quiet for a moment before replying. "I gave up a lot to live alone. I don't have much money, but I do have a heart. I'm the guest here, and guests should help. If we live together, I'll cook breakfast every day." And so began their shared life, not as husband and wife, but as companions. At first, her children remained skeptical, but as the months passed, something changed. Mr. Choi took Mrs. Lee to her hospital appointments, tended the garden, and even made traditional food for the grandchildren during holidays. One Chuseok, her eldest daughter, Yoon Young, tearfully admitted, "Mom, I'm sorry. We only thought about the money, but this man, he's been more of a family than we imagined." From then on, Mr. Choi began sending monthly letters to her children. "Today, Sunok and I made green onion kimchi. We laughed a lot. I heard your son's starting high school. We've prepared some preserved jujubes for him." With each letter, their hearts softened. They began to understand that being family is not about blood. It's about effort, time, and presence. 10 years later, Mrs. Lee passed away peacefully. At the funeral, for the first time, Mr. Choi's son appeared and awkwardly said, "I'm sorry I never visited, but seeing this, you really were a family." That night, Mr. Choi sat by her photo and whispered, "Thanks to you, I learned something. Love in old age isn't something you receive. It's something you build together." And outside the window, the autumn wind gently stirred the curtains. The core message: a family isn't defined by legal ties or blood, but by shared effort and mutual care.